Strategy number 3 of Your Mind is Your Vision Board, 101 Strategies for Mastering Emotions and Manifesting Success. Neutralize negativity. Your mind is not a landfill for recycled pain. It is a temple, a gallery, a sacred space where thoughts that you entertain become energetic altars to your reality. And if you keep hanging up shame, fear, comparison, and regret on the walls of your consciousness, they will begin to shape what you expect from life. That's why neutralizing negativity is not just a mindset shift, it's an act of reverence. You are cleansing your inner altar of what no longer serves your spirit. So the truth is, many people avoid that you will never be able to stop negative thoughts from visiting. But you can choose not to host them. You can choose not to give them wall space. When you catch yourself thinking something that lowers your energy, something like, I'm always behind, or nothing ever works out for me, don't try to argue with it. Just say, this does not belong in my gallery, and feel the shift. You're not pushing it away. You're simply recognizing that your inner space is too sacred to hang illusions. This is the beginning of spiritual discernment, the ability to know what's true and what's just familiar. You don't have to curate the perfect gallery of thoughts. You just have to choose what you are willing to let live there. The thoughts you nurture become the emotions you will experience. And those emotions become the energy you radiate. Let your mind be a sanctuary, not a storage unit. The truth about negativity is that negativity grows more negativity. If you have found yourself spiraling in the midst of your negative thoughts, there's no better time than right now. There's no better day than today than to start shifting into positivity. Okay, and positivity by itself is not a quick fix. It is not going to solve all of the world's problems or all of your problems. But I assure you, it is much easier to solve your problems when you're in a positive mindset. It is much easier to solve your problems and overcome challenges when you are not beating yourself up for all of the things that got you in that place. So shifting your thoughts and your mindset from negative to positive, it's not a quick fix, but it is an important shift. It is an important change, and it will transform. It will begin to transform so many areas of your life. And it's amazing because all of the areas of our lives are so deeply connected to each other. So I've seen people say that they were working on their relationship to improve, and then they started seeing financial success, or they started seeing improvement in their family relationships and things like that. Because your mind, your belief system creates everything around you. It creates everything around you. And some people just naturally have a positive belief system. Some people just always knew that they were going to be successful and they were going to keep pushing no matter what. That was in them. That was a part of them to begin with. Other people didn't have that. right? And that's not a blame or a fault or a reason to beat themselves up. Everyone has a different upbringing. Everyone has a different internal chemical state. Some people have more endorphins than others. So they're going to be naturally in a better mood. I remember reading an article talking about that men have a higher level of endorphins and, you know, those feel good chemicals inside of them. And women naturally have a lower amount of that. So whatever it is, it doesn't mean that you messed up or you did something bad, right? But at any point that we can begin to make those changes. We can begin to make those changes because when you start to flood your brain and flood your thoughts with positivity, that thought itself is creating the endorphins and those feel-good chemicals that you need and that we all need as human beings in order to go out and accomplish our goals. Because every time you have a thought, your brain creates a chemical that correlates with that thought. Now, oftentimes we don't really notice that, right? Because we have so many thoughts throughout the day. We think of so many different things throughout each day. But we notice it when it's a surge of chemicals, right? So for example, if you think about someone that you love, your chemical state inside starts to change. You can feel the love that you have for them, especially if it's a mother or father thinking about their child, or if you're thinking about your mother or your father. You have a strong connection to them, and it's a stronger chemical rush that is going to come out when you are thinking of them. So in the same way, when you think about something that is negative or something that has a bad meaning for you, you still are creating a chemical inside of you. Now, for example, there are people who are scared of snakes, right? My mother's scared of snakes. I remember we went to a zoo one time and she refused. It was a display and it was a snake in a glass cage and it was underneath the steps that you're supposed to go down. She would not walk under, and it was really hard because that was the only path to to get to the next level. There was no other way. So it was a whole thing. But some people who are scared of snakes, some people are scared of bugs, spiders, things like that. If they even think about this thing that they're afraid of, they might start feeling itchy. They haven't seen the spider, they haven't seen the bug. They start having a physical reaction inside of them. Some people are scared of public speaking. Apparently, the majority of the population is afraid of public speaking. So one of those people, if they're told that, oh, I need you to go up and introduce so-and-so because the MC is running late and we need you to cover, they will have a physical reaction. Sometimes they will have to run to the back, throw up, and then come out and do what they need to do, especially if it's for their job or or they have to do it, right? But when you have butterflies in your stomach, that's a chemical reaction. That's your fear responses. That's adrenaline. And it can just come from you thinking of something. It can just come from a thought. Okay, so imagine how many negative chemicals we are releasing into our body every time we are having negative thoughts. And some of us ruminate on these thoughts all day long. Some of us cannot let go of them, right? And sometimes they bring us comfort. It's called having a pity party. It's something that you're used to doing and it becomes a part of you. So it is so important to consciously and purposefully start transforming our thoughts consciously and purposefully, instead of letting our subconscious thoughts take center stage and run our lives and oftentimes ruin our lives. It's time to become conscious. It's time to become conscious. It's time to, I want to say become woke, but that usually means something else. But it's time to take control of our thoughts, of our inner worlds, of our inner lives, and just stop leaving it to happenstance. Stop leaving it to happenstance. So I am going to make sure that I post the link for the book if you would like to check it out with all of my other listeners who have gotten the book so quickly. Thank you all. Thank you all. And I'm also loving all the messages of how it's helping you, because that's the reason I wrote it. So again, it's Your Mind is Your Vision Board, 101 Strategies for Mastering Emotions and Manifesting Success. So I just want you guys to remember that anytime you catch yourself having a negative thought, that does not have to be your pattern. You can rewrite your pattern. You can rewrite your inner dialogue that you are having with yourself, because the most important relationship that we can have is the one that we have with ourselves, because that is going to seep over into every other relationship that we have and everything else that we do from going forward. So I thank you all for being with me today. Please leave your comments down below. And if you have any questions, leave those as well. I will see you next time.